Hi everyone, I'm Chia Jingchen, also known as Wayne. Today we'd like to present about child labor in city confectionery. So let's start off with the background of the case. Confectionery is one of the Southeast Asia's largest confectionery company. We've recently moved into a whole new international market by being able to gain 20% of sales internationally by partnering with BB's Health Snack as confectionery first step of internationalization. However, the issue flows up when BB's finds out a child packing biscuits in a warehouse during a Zoom call with the confectionery suppliers. Hence, this makes BB's representative feel concerned and then report it to their upper management. Before diving into deeper understanding and details, I would like to share to you guys about my role as a Chief Financial Officer of this case study, also known as a CFO. So, as a CFO of this case, I have to provide recommendations to BB's Health Snack on business partnerships, analyze the potential stakeholders' impact, and ethical learnings from the case and focusing on the financial impact of the confectionery. And most importantly, the purpose of this presentation is to focus on what I have learned from the role play during the class and provide ethical decisions and demonstrate personal learnings and how I would apply it to the future application as a fresh graduate. So let's start with the recommendations. From the role-play discussion, we have came up with a few recommendations to solve this issue, which is confectionery can have a code of conduct for the child labor. Not only this helps to protect the company's and the supplier reputation, or at the same time maintaining a partnership with BB as it is an important partnership towards the confectionery. Next solutions can be confectionery could try to partner with BBs to support the children's tuition fee, daily essentials by working alongside with the NGOs. Third is implementing a strong monitoring system in the company that monitors, making sure the employees follows the rules and policies. Last but not least, confectionery could give a less stressful work for the children if really have to work to provide for the family or those families that relies on their children for their incomes. Next is the interesting ethical perspective part, which is quite a main part of this case study. I learned that some ethical perspective can be connected with this case study. First is the utilitarianism. It refers to an action acceptable regardless of the motive, as long as the good outcomes are better than the bad. This refers to the confectionery continues the partnership with strict conditions like codes that could minimize the harm and balance the good between all the stakeholders. Next is the stakeholders theory. It refers to conceptualized business as a never-generating value relationship among stakeholders with legitimate interests and outcomes of the firm, meaning not only for the self-interest but also all the stakeholders, which is BB Health Snacks, the children's and their families. Connecting with the case, it's important for confectionery to consider all the stakeholders. Last is the virtue ethics. It can be means by the character moral that focus on the actions consequences. Moving on is the stakeholders' impact. First is the children and their families. The families that rely on the children for their income are still at risk. Next is the baby's health net. They might face reputational damage and short-term financial loss, which same goes with the confectionery, plus the worker might quit the job due to unstable income. And customer might increase trust in both companies, thanking for their ethical changes and better decision makings. Let's take a break from words and see some cool pictures. Here are two pictures taken on the day of the roleplay. Coming back, here the next slide is the cultural rules and biases. I understand that different countries will have different rules. Same goes with different race having different norms and culture. Confectionery is from Southeast Asian and are more acceptable for children to work such as Indonesia and Philippines. Meanwhile, in Australia, they are more biased on child labor, and to connect with the biases the Asian culture might be economic survival and family contribution are part of reality, and they don't even care about whether or not the child is working as long as money is earned. But for Asian, they might feel biased when Western companies they don't understand the struggle for them and being judgmental towards them. For Australia, they might feel biased, which is the same thing, same goes with the Asian countries, that they assume that the suppliers in developing regions, they are violating ethical standards. So next is the empathy towards the parties. So we can see from the issues that all the parties were affected after the case has been shown. I show sympathy towards the families who rely on children income may face difficulty and challenges, understanding that children have to work to support for the families. But the reputational of the confectionery may be damaged. And I also show empathy towards BB Health Snacks as their reputation might get affected as working with the confectionery. Moving on is the example of experience. I have asked for recommendations on what to do ethically while trying to maintain partnerships with BBs. I understand that the financial issue and the situation is really important, but I applied different ethical thinking into the case. I realized the importance of ethical conduct, and I have implemented into giving the recommendation for confectionery, and I finally personally think if a company wants to implement codes of conduct without a strong emphasis will not work, which the company needs to focus on this. For the lessons I have learned from this roleplay, as a CFO I learned that it is important to care about employee well-being, especially income as to survive on daily basis. And I also need to give fully support towards my team, especially CEO of the company, to help do the work correctly and smoothly, make ethical decisions carefully and understand the cultural difference and consider different thinking. Stepping towards a future career as a fresh graduate, I found that making ethical decisions requires me not only on the company's side, but also towards the other stakeholders like the children and the partners. Other than this, the roleplay also prepares myself as a fresh graduate to make better decisions in a more ethical way and consider the outcome of the decision and apply them when I'm entering the future workplace. Lastly, I learned that it's important as a graduate to ask questions before making decisions or doing things as it helps with better understanding more than just assumptions. Thank you everyone, that's all from my side. I have gained valuable knowledge and lessons from this great experience of this roleplay. Thank you and see you guys again.